All right, guys. So we got Jordan here. I'm just gonna get Jordan to introduce himself and his business and what he does.
I'm Jordan from Elicit Creations. I own a shop here in Ottawa, and we do mainly color changes and some custom wraps. We also dabble in a bit of PPF. So anything to do with film work, just not tint. I've been doing wraps for about 4 or 5 years now. So, and Elicit Creations has been open for about 3 years now. I just had a memory on Facebook pop up the other day. So
Awesome. So, what got you started in the wrap industry?
doing something in cars. I wanted to do something with cars, and I seen somebody wrapping a Lamborghini at an auto show here, and I was like, that looks really sick. I want to do that. So I did some little bit of research and actually flew all the way out to Manitoba there in Winnipeg to do a course, and did a course, came back, and then I started at a sign shop. And ironically enough, actually, the guy that was wrapping the Lamborghini at the show came in as a contractor to this shop that I was working at. So I learned a lot of my stuff from him.
Oh, crazy.
Which was really, really useful.
That's cool. It's funny because Winnipeg's only an hour and a half from me. Like, I'm an hour and a half south of Winnipeg. So.
Yeah, no, I went there to do the 3M course through ND Graphic.
Okay, yeah.
So.
Sweet.
Yeah, and it got my foot in the door. I'm not gonna lie, I would have rather done the Avery course, but I didn't know anything about wrap going into it, so I was able to learn a few things, and then handed my resume into ND Graphics and was able to get a job in a sign shop where
Oh, sweet.
I could actually, learn and perfect my talent. So.
Awesome.
And then I was there for about a year, and then I think I started Elicit Creations about a year or so after I was there, because I wanted to work more personal vehicles, and we were doing a lot of commercial. So that's where my passion lies. Is
Is it just you, or you have employees under you, or partners, or anything?
So no, it started with me and a friend. And fortunately, he didn't know anything about wrapping. He was more of the mechanical side of things. But the first year was kind of hard. Wraps weren't very, very popular when I first started. So, as far as custom color changes and stuff like that, Ottawa's 3 years ago was very bland. And then over the last 2 years, things have just been sporadically growing and growing. When I first started, it was like pulling teeth trying to get $2,000 for a wrap, just trying to get my name out there and stuff. So we had a hard first summer when we started, and then we actually split mutually, and I just took over because I was the one that did all the wraps anyways. And from there, made it through the winter. I actually took a job at another sign shop for the winter just to keep me going. And then the next year, I got in my own shop, and it was going really good ever since. So
Awesome.
Luckily, COVID hasn't really affected us, except for now. I'm sure you're feeling as well, like the vinyl shortages on certain materials and stuff.
Yeah. No, I just had to order some white vinyl the other day, and it had to come from somewhere in Ontario. I forget. It might have been Ottawa or something like that, from ND Graphics location out there, because they didn't have any of the other locations across Canada. So.
Yeah, I know it's getting pretty bad. I know I've went on some websites too. I work with Elicit. I remember going on the website a few weeks ago and seeing the whole website was out. And I was just like, oh crap,
Jeez.
I've been working with a lot more Hexus lately, actually, because of the fact that 3M and Avery have been harder to source and get in, especially Avery for a lot of their cooler colors, right? So
yeah. So as far as ease of install, which film do you prefer?
I prefer Avery. Obviously, Avery's always been nice and easy to install. It's user friendly.
Yeah.
But out of the three main ones that I use would be Hexus, Avery, and 3M. I do like Hexus over 3M. It's I feel like Hexus is kind of like a cross between Avery and their own vinyl, obviously. It's relative to Avery, so I like using that. 3M don't like is very just over the years I haven't found their 2080 stuff that as nice as the 1080 stuff. So and then Elicit have been using a lot of that. Really like their films. The finish of their films is great. It is a little harder to apply, and there's been a lot of backlash on that, where maybe people don't know how to apply their films, and they're getting lots of defects and stuff like that. But it's a different film at the end of the day, right? Everything that's coming out nowadays, you got to find a different way to install these things.
Yeah, because that's what I've heard about Nosotech, or I know however you want to pronounce it, is guys complaining about.
How long have you been? How long have you been in the rap industry for?
Started playing around with it about 4 years ago when I was running a different shop. I owned an automotive customization shop. While I was running that, my brother started. We opened what we called a little sign wrap shop. Kind of just used extra space I had in the shop I was renting for the customization, and then ended up shutting that down. And then I went on board with Rogue Lab and was doing all of his installs for him, contracting. And then about a year ago, when I started TL Wrap Tools, I kind of just started doing my own stuff, contracting to other shops and whatnot. And then I worked at a sign/wrap shop for a few months this year. Didn't really like working for someone because that's just how I am. And and then also TL Wrap Tools was picking up again at that point. It's been up and down, right? Like I'll get weeks where I'm just completely smashed with orders, and then weeks where there's almost no orders, right? So I needed something to fill that void. And then now I'm getting busier with my own wraps, and I just started TL Wraps. So we'll see where that goes.
Do you still do contracting like with TL Wraps like for other shops and stuff as well?
Yeah, I'm still doing contracting. Like I'll do, if Rogue still needs me to contract, I'll do that for him. And this other guy that I do most of my contracting for, he's got a couple jobs for these this week, and I did a couple last week. So, and there's also another shop in town that I also contract. So I guess there's 3 pretty much that I contract for.
So that's actually an interesting topic that we have in common there. So even though I do my own thing and have my own company and business and whatnot, a lot of also what I do behind the scenes, which a lot of people don't know, I call myself the Rap Ghost here because I work for about like 4 or 5 other shops.
Yeah.
So I'm always busy, even though I might not be busy on my page. I always have something going on.
Because even though you're not posting about the job, doesn't mean you're not doing a job, right? I think that's what lots of us rappers do. We try to find space to fill with contracting, right? So, and it's a good way to do it. You may not make as much on those jobs, but you're still going to make enough to pay your bills and keep yourself going.
Yeah, and personally, the one thing I like is I've always liked to maintain, relationships with other shops and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Right? At the end of the day, there's always enough work to go around for everyone. And I enjoy making those connections with other shops and other people, right? If you need something too, they got your back, you got their back, right? So it's good making those connections. Sometimes I get work from those shops when they're too busy. Everyone helps each other, right? So
yeah. No, that's what I love about it.
When I first finished and I was walking back through those airplane tunnels to go, and that's media, that's finalized. Like, those are things like I never seen before or would look at in that sense, right?
Yeah.
And now that I'm in the industry, you see all that stuff everywhere. And you're like, oh, like this is all stuff that was made in the industry, but yet not a lot of people know about it or anything like that. I just wrapped my car chrome, for example. So many people are like, hey, nice paint job, or what kind of paint is that, right? Because there's not many people that actually know about this stuff. And one of the things I want to do, I'm going to start doing ads and stuff soon. So I want to try to push it out more to the general public and get a little bit out of the car scene and bring in some more of the general public in. And, once one person knows and they tell a few people, and, it keeps growing and growing. And like I said, as the years have gone, Ottawa, like this year, it's just booming with raps. Like I'm already booking into July, and I'm halfway booked into July, and like the summer hasn't even started yet.
That's awesome.
So
that's great. I love to hear when guys are busy like that. Like around here, it's kind of like what you say Ottawa used to be, where people don't really know about it. Like they know about it, but or they've seen like a printed rap or whatever, right? They've seen commercial wraps, but they don't understand it, and they don't understand that you could just change the color of your vehicle with it. or they just don't
Yeah,
want to pay
exactly.
$2,500 to $4,500 for a wrap, depending on what you're doing, right? Um,
Yeah.
and they most of them just don't understand it. Like, people ask me, "What do you do for work?" I'm like, "Well, I make tools for the vinyl and sign industry, or wrap and sign industry." What do you mean? Like, what is that? Like, well, let me explain it to you. So,
One of the best is what do you do for work? Oh, I'm a rapper. And then they all look at you like, you're gonna spit some bars?
yeah, I've
It's
had
like,
that
no,
before
no,
too. It's very funny.
because nobody knows what it is.
Yeah.
And like I was saying, when you find a good installer, it's a rarity. It's super hard to find a good installer these days, or an installer in general.
Yeah.
Which is why like a lot of sign shops or wrap shops around here like employ me, right? Because they see my work and they see what I can do, and even though they might have a rapper or somebody working for them already, like, my work is quality, so they bring me in to do like the tougher jobs and stuff like that. Which is why I work with so many shops and whatnot, and why they all want me. But it's also hard. I'm finding it personally hard because I want to grow Elicit Creations, but I still want to maintain all my connections and work for the shops, right? But like, I don't want to overflow work with those shops and not focus on my own stuff. So I'm finding a hard time trying to balance that right now. The next like 2 months, I don't really have a whole lot of like jobs coming in my door per se, but I'm booked. Like I have jobs. It's just they're not under my name per se.
Yeah.
So that is one thing I find that's hard with contracting.
So, I've had a couple jobs lately where I'm fixing guys that have tried DIY installs. What do you do in that case? Have you had cases like that or no?
So I haven't had to actually fix a full DUI. I have had a couple people last year attempt their car, or one person bought vinyl off of me and attempted like a few parts.
Yeah, I should correct myself. The kid that I finished his car for, he did the hood, the roof, and the rockers, and like wrapping the corners, he literally just folded the vinyl over the corners. Like, not even kidding. That's how bad it was. And you could tell, as soon as I looked at it, I could tell he laid it down and squeegeed it with a credit card. And then his buddy was trying to wrap his car himself and brought me his Subaru hood scoop or whatever because he couldn't figure out how to do it, do inlays on it. So I did that for him. And then I asked him about the other guy. I said, did he use a credit card to install that? Yeah, he showed me and told me that he used a credit card. I'm like, no. So my goal this year is to...
Credit card and a hairdryer.
Yeah, probably. That's probably what he did. Because there was a couple spots, I don't know how he did it, but on the hood where it looked like he had not only like stretched the film like crazy, but somehow burnt it on a flat, like right by his sunroof.
Flat
yeah.
surface.
And it's like, how? I don't understand. So I really want to start educating people more, and that's why I have my YouTube channel and stuff. I'm trying to, along with these Rap Talk episodes, I want to not just, shoot the shit with other people, installers, but also educate people on how not to make those mistakes if you were going to try a DIY install, and also educate people why we charge what we charge, and because of the experience we have and the knowledge and skills, right? So.
Yeah, no, that is, and as I started to grow, as the business and the page started to grow, I didn't have to deal with as much, for example, like, people trying to haggle me down on the price or any pieces. I don't think I'm one of the cheapest in the city, which is totally fine. That's kind of where I want to be at. Eventually, I'd like to be the most expensive in the city, but also be the most booked. And that's because I want to still have, I want to have the best quality in the city. And I've seen a lot of jobs, and it's really, really, really easy to make stuff look good. You take a picture from 5-10 feet away on your Instagram, it looks amazing, and you really got to question, and you got to do your research when you're looking at and into shops. This guy might be $200-300 more, but there might be a reason why he's charging $200-$300 more versus this guy for the exact same thing. And, do your research, go in, maybe check out their work while they're working on something. You can always do that with a lot of shops. Go and talk to them, see, looks good from, wraps and stuff like that before. It's a lot about name and quality, right? So get it done and get it out of the way. And it'll look bad. And then somebody will be turned off of getting a wrap completely, and they'll tell their friends and so on and so forth, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that's part of the reason why I want to educate DIY installers more so that they can do a better job, because I think DIY installs done bad, and then those guys show their friends, look, I wrapped my vehicle, but their friends will look at it and be like, well, that doesn't look good. Why would I want to wrap my vehicle, right? Or why would I want to go get it wrapped? So I want to.
That's true. Yeah.
That's why I kind of either we need to eliminate DIY installs or we need to educate them so that they can do it better.
And I mean, a lot of times people, for example, they'll come in and they'll watch me for like 5-10 minutes, and they'll be like, oh, like, I realize you charge what you charge because of what you do and how you do it. It's not as easy as people make it look. Like, we all make it look easy, right? You see it's wrapping on YouTube, or you see us wrapping on Instagram, and it looks like a piece of cake, but you really know how to do it, right? And then you get, but then they get to the parts like the corners where they don't exactly know how to do the corners, and you'll see a lot of folds and stuff like that. Like you said, go on, and it'll trickle down the line. They'll show their friends and so on and so forth. But like you said, this is why we charge what we charge, because we've put our time and effort into it. I put a year of my time. I did the course, and then I put a year of my time into design shop before even starting doing my own personal jobs. And I got thrown right into the wolves when I did that. The learning curve was there. The sign shop, we had to. Remember my very first week, I threw these Taggart trucks, and they're just like a cab wrap. The rest of the truck is black, and it's just a cab wrapping orange. And I remember I had to redo like one whole side, and I think a roof on one of them. And that was within my first week or two, right? And it's learning, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely.
You gotta get there, and you gotta do it.
Yeah, no, it's all about learning. Like, even after you've been doing this for 4 years or whatever, same with me. Like, I haven't been doing it full time for 4 years, but on and off, and now I'm full time into it. Well, other than making the tools. You never want to stop learning. I'm always looking to how can I look at what these other guys are doing, or take ideas and tips from other guys. And that's what I love about these talks, is I can learn from you guys, and we can all learn from each other how to run our businesses better and do our jobs better, right?
The industry is ever changing too. New materials. For example, I haven't tried it yet, but I am dying to try it. Is that Flexi Shield dry apply PPF? And that's something new and game changing.
Huh. I didn't know that was a dry install.
Color change. So, that's going to be a kind of a game changer for a lot of us. That's why I'm really interested in trying it.
Because there is the GSWF colored PPF, but that's all wet install, right? And I just saw a little bit of the Flexi Shield stuff, but I didn't know that it was a dry install.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like, there's always new products and stuff coming out to market. Things you gotta when a new product comes out, even if it's just a new vinyl, that vinyl has its characteristics for that vinyl. Like, it knows it came out last year. Everyone, it's a new vinyl for everyone. You got to figure out how to install it. I've done a lot of cars in it, and I've seen some other cars done in it, locally. And I remember seeing one, and like all the edges were failing. And they're saying like, oh, it's the vinyl's fault, the glue's letting go. And I'm like, well, no, it's certain spots might have let go because of some glue, but like, not every single edge on your car is going to lift, And so it's one of the industries where you got to be on top of your game. You got to be on your ball, and you always got to be constantly.
Yeah. No, absolutely. No, this was great. No, man, I appreciate you being willing to do this with me and taking your time to do this. I really do appreciate that, and hope you have a great week and crush it.
You as well, my man. And I mean, if you ever want to do this again, and a few months down the road or something like that, and catch up again.
Absolutely.
I'm down for sure.
Awesome, man. Take care. Wrap on.